Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast, hosted by yours truly, Scott Howell, and the incomparable Bradley Flowers. For agents, by agents, we're here to share real-life experiences, tips, and insights related to all aspects of both being an insurance agent and running a successful agency. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let's get down to business. Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast. I am your fearless host and leader, Mr. Scott Howell, with I Protect Insurance and Financial Services based out of Huntsville, Alabama. Before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore, Parade All-American, first team Rivals 5-star recruit. He is single-handedly bringing the kindness revolution to the Mobile metropolitan area. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
I'm great, Scott. How are you today?
Man, I am doing fantastic. I'm really excited about our guest today. Guys, our mission on this podcast is to help you agents in any way we can. Sales, servicing, hiring, firing, digital, marketing, whatever it may be, we want to help you with it. Our challenge to each other is to bring the top flight executives and insurance agents from all over the country, people who are in the business, to talk to you guys on this podcast. And if you get anything out of it, if you get one idea out of it from each episode, considering it's the F 4-letter word free, I think it would be worthwhile to listen and to subscribe to our podcast. What do you think about that, Bradley?
Absolutely.
Guys, today we have got a very special guest, and it's somebody I've wanted to have on here for a long time. I know a lot more about him than he knows about me. He is the host and creator of the Insurance Agent Summit, the insurance industry's largest online event for insurance agents. I know Bradley's actually speaking on it this year and has listened to it, and it actually kind of was one of the genesis behind this podcast.
Spurred the podcast on.
Yeah.
I watched it last year, came across Chris Paradiso, reached out to him.
Right.
One thing led to the other, and here we are with this podcast.
That's right. So this guy studied insurance and risk management at the University of Iowa. He is originally from Greeley, Iowa, and currently resides in West Des Moines, Iowa. Met with some guys from up that way last week. He has a beautiful wife named Melissa Appleton. And if you want to go be a part of the Insurance Agent Summit, all you have to do is go to insuranceagentsummit.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the other incomparable Mr. Brian Appleton. How are you, Brian?
Hey, I'm great. I love the introduction. I love the energy. I'm excited and honored to be here with you guys and to take part in this podcast today. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm going to do with you what I do with everybody. I need you to climb in your DeLorean and go back in time. We're in college, and somehow, some way, from college to today, we have created the insuranceagentsummit.com. And between
/guys.
It's /guys. So I want you to climb in your DeLorean and tell our audience of 250,000 insurance agents how we got to today. Go back in time and let us know how you got in the insurance business and how you came up with this beautiful idea of the Insurance Agent Summit for us.
Yeah, I love that. Hop in the DeLorean. I'm going to try to go back. So as quickly as I can, I think I fell into the insurance industry the same way a lot of people do. Some people come up through the family. Some just kind of fall into it. I was a college student like most who really had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I knew after high school I was supposed to go to college. That was the right thing to do. I came from a family of farmers and nurses and teachers. And so it was, you got told at a pretty young age, you're going to go to college after high school. And so I was there and really no idea. And the university started bringing in actually insurance programs, insurance classes that they had 20 years ago. For some reason, they went away. Don't really know why. Iowa is, what most people don't know, is probably second per capita in insurance jobs in the United States, usually behind Connecticut. So we've got Principal and EMC, and Nationwide has a huge office here. I mean, we've got so many insurance companies and so many insurance jobs. I often joke with people, we do insurance, we do agriculture, and we do insurance for agriculture. So that's our mainly what we do here in Iowa. But just kind of a friend of mine was taking the classes. I thought, why not? One of my best friends growing up, his dad was an insurance agent for Farm Bureau, sold mostly life insurance and insurance to farmers. And I thought he had a pretty good life in my small town. He was one of the high income earners, and he got time off to coach and do whatever he wanted. So I thought, why not? And I just kind of fell into it after I graduated, went to work for one of the top 50 largest privately owned agencies, and was there for about 5 or 6 years. And then really saw that though I enjoyed the agency side, I didn't see it as being my long-term future. I was really getting into marketing and copywriting and really seeing what things were involving online. And so long story short, that went into really working with agencies, doing consulting work, a number of different ways for a few years. And then how the summit got started, I honestly saw people doing it outside of the insurance industry. And I said, why not here? And so I had maybe 5 good contacts, one of them being Chris Paradiso. Bradley, I know you've mentioned before, has become a good friend and mentor to yours. He's one of my closest, dearest friends in the industry and a great mentor. And I just kept saying to people, here's the idea, I want to do it. And everybody said, every single person I talked to said, sounds like a pretty big thing to bite off by yourself, but if you can pull this off, I'm in. And, one led to 2 more and 3 more, 4, they just kept going. And so I had over 60 people on the first summit, way too many, way too much content, way too many people. But I was excited.
What year was the first? What year was the first summit, Brian?
It was about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
So we're now on I did 2 summits in 1 year. That was way too much for me and my team. So now we do about 1 a year specific to the insurance industry. And so this is summit number 4. We've done 4 summits in just about 3 years. And we've grown every year. And so, yeah, that was the first iteration. And I went from no email list. I had I just had a few contacts, but nobody on my email list. And that first summit we had, I want to say between 4,000 and 5,000 probably agents that signed up and registered and attended. And then now over the last few years, it's gone to over 10,000. I've gotten emails from Australia, New Zealand, different countries in Europe, South Africa, Dubai. I mean, it's cool to see and I'm sure you guys have probably seen some of that through the podcast, but it's cool to see, just how I thought this was just for the U.S. and that's really the focus of the focus of my speakers. But some of the content really relates to so many agents across the world. So it's been fun to see that. It's just like what you guys do. I'm not getting rich anytime soon off doing it, but it's been a labor of love, and it's led to so many great connections and partnerships and opportunities and other things that it's been a really fun ride to get to this point.
Well, and I was actually thinking about it this morning. It's funny you mentioned that. Scott started saying insurance agents from around the world over a year ago, sort of as a not really a joke, but sort of as a joke, not thinking, but I'm actually looking through my Instagram DMs right now. I had somebody reach out that was what was it, Sudan or somewhere crazy. Like, I love the podcast, and I'm like, literally people around the world are listening. So it's cool. It's
very cool. It's the world we live in today is the platforms that are available. You just put something out there, especially a podcast like you guys are doing. I mean, the worldwide platform that is what Apple has, or what wherever you're putting your podcast at. But people just go there and look for insurance. Unfortunately, in one aspect, fortunately for guys like us, there's not a whole lot out there. So if they search for insurance podcasts, they're not going to find a whole lot. And I guarantee some of what they find out there is not going to be as top-notch quality as what you guys are putting together. So it didn't take long for you guys to rise to the cream rises to the top, because you just put it out there and put out good stuff, and people will find you.
Brian, I've got great news for you today. Would you like to hear what that is?
Always.
I know absolutely nothing about the insuranceagentsummit.com. That is good news for you, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if Scott doesn't know anything about it, I guarantee you there's a bunch of agents listening to this right now that don't know anything about it. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want to get into this. First, I'm going to read something. Our speakers will get intimate about what is really helping them in their agencies and how they do it, no matter what market forces we're in or competitive territories. How you can use the latest in online and offline marketing to put your marketing on autopilot so new commercial and personal lines opportunities come to you pre-educated and at a constant flow. So my first question is this. I'm on your website right now. Is the insuranceagentsummit.com, is it something that I, as an insurance agent, can go take part in and watch at any time I want, or is it one of those situations where it's like a live webinar?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, the cool thing that what we've created is it's kind of a combination of both things. It's really taking into account what we've got available in the online world with what agents are used to in the offline world. So I often tell people, they're like, same thing. What is the summit? How is it different than, other things out there? I often tell people it's kind of like, when you go to your association or trade events or other, you go there to learn, to get information, to get content. Unfortunately, agents often find they're not getting the information and content they want there, because really what people want is, how do I sell better? How do I get better marketing? How do I get better at the online world? Because I know I have to. And so really we shifted our focus to just focusing on that. And then the content that we offer it is available. We make it available for free for a certain period of time. So when the event goes live on the 22nd of October this year, anybody that registers and signs up, you can watch it on your time during those days. So it is pre-recorded content, which is great because you don't have to be there live. You can watch it when you want to, but we do make it available for those 3 days you can attend for free. And then we do have a VIP program. It's very cheap, I think, and it allows you to get almost kind of like a membership to the content where you can access that content at any time. So I know it's hard for, a lot of us agency owners. We're busy. We've got a lot going on, or agents. There's just a lot going on. So it's hard to, we've got 15 great speakers this year, Bradley being one of them. So it's hard to even attend that over a 3-day period. So
you go, Bradley Flowers. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Who are some of the speakers?
I'm so proud of him. I'm like a dad that's proud of his kid when he watches him play baseball. Go ahead.
Who are some of the other speakers, Brian?
Yeah, well, some of the other speakers, Bradley, who we mentioned, Chris Paradiso, who we mentioned, Zack Gould and Matt Naimoli, who I think you guys have had on before as well.
Yep.
Mike Crowley, who's a great agent in Northeast. I think he's in New Jersey or New York, doing some great stuff on video content. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. Bradley's doing social media. Zack and Matt are doing, really how to grow your network and get referrals. Chris Paradiso is doing some great stuff on the renewal process and his renewal process, exactly how he does it. Carlos Vargas, maybe some of your people have heard of as well, is doing some great content on really how he's created freedom in his agency. He's got an agency that kind of runs itself, and he's done every day by 1:30. Now, what agent wouldn't like that? I mean, this industry was supposed to be the lifestyle business, and so many of us have gone away from that.
Yep.
So, but you mentioned about a dad kind of like of a proud son. I feel the same way with Bradley coming on this year and our other speaker, Mike Crowley, a little bit, because these are two guys that I've had on, and right before we did their training, they're both like, Brian, I really was looking for something different or new, or how to grow my agency, and I watched your stuff 2 years ago or even a year ago, and I applied it, and it's totally transformed my agency. I mean, Mike watched a couple of our speakers talk about video content, 2 years ago. He started doing it, as a guy that had no idea, never done video before, considers himself an introvert, not really hey, I want to be showy on video and stuff like that. And he just started doing it. Now he does, a lot of his proposals by video proposal, and he closes like over 90% by video proposal. And then he's using video for marketing and branding and selling in his agency. So it's just, I feel the same way when I have these guys on and they're like, thank you. I learned something from the summit, and now I'm applying it. And now it's helping me grow my agency.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way.
And so, Mike does a phenomenal job. He and I have actually connected on social since you actually told me about him. He does a really, really, really good job.
So here's my next question. The agency summit, is it mainly property and casualty people talking about insurance? The reason I bring this up is the University of Alabama has an insurance department, right? You can get a degree from the University of Alabama in insurance. So about 3 years ago, I get invited to they call it the I-Day at the university, and it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. There's lots of people that show up. So I go over there.
They're promoting it right now, actually.
Good. Let them keep promoting it. I'm about to bash them on the freaking podcast. So I go to the University of Alabama, and there's probably, 1,000, 2,000 people there. I go in the Bryant Conference Center, and they've got some damn global economic guy talking about the geopolitical impact of globalization on the insurance industry as a global blah blah blah, and I'm sitting there thinking, what in the hell am I doing here? And it seemed like every speaker that got up he is the president of the Department of Homeland Security's Economic Development, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, there's nothing here to help me. There's nothing here to help me. Why am I here? So I guess my question to you is, are you getting guys on there that are the Scott Howells of the world that are keeping it real and talking about things that insurance agents want to hear? I assume that you are, based on some of the names you've thrown out.
Yeah, I mean, what you just mentioned, we could do probably like 4 podcasts on first the downfall of probably our education system in college, but the disconnect between what we're teaching kids today or people in college about insurance and how it's so far off from what the true reality is. I mean, I talked before.
Preach.
I went through insurance classes. I went through insurance college, classes in college. I mean. Unfortunately, it's been part of the downfall of our industry in somewhat is we're so technical, which in a way is good because it separates us from the average agent or somebody that doesn't really understand a form or, a missing coverage or something like that. But, the classes or the programs, they don't, how do I run an agency? How do I manage accounting? How is the payment processing different at an agency than it is at other businesses?
Yeah.
What does reoccurring commission mean? Why is it important? I mean, all these different things, and sales and marketing, I need to be a salesperson. I need to sell. That is, I'm going to feast or famine based on that. I need to, even if you're even the best outgoing, personable salesperson still needs certain skills or certain things or understand how to overcome objections, just all these types of things. So that could be about like a 4 podcast series that we could go into. But yeah, really, I mean, and we've evolved over time, but really it's always been, it still continues to be, I love marketing. I love sales. I love, and I'm really involved in the online world. Like, how do we do it through online means? Because, one of our speakers this year even talked about, the reason they went online is they had people down the street that said, I didn't even know you were here until you went online. Consumers today don't go, knocking down the door. They don't come in. And honestly, as agents, I think we can run a better agency and a better business if we're not doing that. I mean, if you're a virtual, essentially, agent, you now have that flexibility and freedom that we always wanted, right? I mean, why did you become an agent? Why did you get in this industry? It's to make good money, to help people, and to live the lifestyle on your terms and the way you want to. So we really have, agents on that. Yes, we're talking about, I said Mike Crowley on video and how he's using that to, automate a part of his business, which is proposals. Getting someone a proposal on a quote. Now he does a video quote and he's got a process now that's incredibly effective. Yeah. And so it helps him save time and close more business. I mean, he's got some huge accounts. You'll hear about it in some of the stuff we talk about. He's got some huge accounts because of that process. Well, Chris Paradiso, always a true innovator. He's involved in data. He's heavy. And I mean, that guy is pushing that envelope all the time. So when we have him on, I'm always amazed. Bradley, who obviously we're on today, talking about Instagram and social media, which has been a buzzword, but I still know there's very few agents actually applying it and actually doing a great job with it. So
that's what I was about to say, man, is one good thing you've done this year is you've got people who are actual practitioners of the things they're talking about. They're not just talking about theories. Not that it's been that way in the past, but I think a lot of times, like what Scott's talking about, it's people talking about stuff that they don't even do on a daily basis. So,
I think you're right. And so we initially started, we had probably 50 agents to consultants or thought leaders. Now we're probably more 90-10. 90% of the people that we have on are true agency owners working in the business day to day that are applying what they're doing. And these are the exact results that they're getting from doing it. Not that those, like you said, those other things aren't good, that consultants or people, because a lot of them have owned an agency in the past and now they just happen to transform. I mean, so they've been there, they've done it. It's just, they're at a different place now. And it's not that, they haven't had success in the people that they're having, but we find, and that's just human nature, most people relate to people that are just like them, that are doing it. And you believe that it's possible when you hear of a Bradley Flowers who's in a small town in Alabama, who is using Instagram and having success with it and writing a lot of business. We focus a lot on P&C. That's my background. That's a lot of the speakers that we have. It's the world that I'm aware of. But, Bradley sells a lot of life insurance. We do have some people that dabble in some other things. And I believe, and Bradley, you can speak to this too, I believe the things we talk about and the stuff you talk about on Instagram is universal.
Oh, yeah.
Any agent, I don't care what you sell, can do that and sell more business.
I had a guy last week, we've always said, and our producer, Johnny Gwynn here, has always said that, you just take insurance out and put whatever business you're in with our podcast, and it's the same with the summit, and it applies. I had a guy approach me a couple weeks ago at a networking event, and he said, man, I just love your podcast. I listen to it all the time. And I'm like, great, man. Well, what agency do you work at? He's like, oh, no, I run a food truck tour. I'm like, great. Dude, that's the biggest compliment you could give me,
Yeah.
Brian, I feel like I've shot myself in the foot a little bit here, because I was going to get with you offline and see if I could do a 4-hour webinar next year on the insuranceagentsummit.com discussing the global insurance implications of Amazon pushing into India this week, and how that was going to affect the globalization of the insurance market. So I was thinking I could wrap that up in about 4 hours, and then I started thinking about it and realized that 1.5 people would probably listen to that or watch it. So we won't do that. Never mind.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, we never have you on. I'd shoot you down pretty hard. So
well, and we were talking about that last night, and you sort of touched on it earlier from an innovation standpoint with the videos and the video quotes and things like that, and being accessible to your clients, I think, is super important in 2018. Last night, me and Scott and my wife were having a conversation over tacos and beer, and we were talking about the Amazon.
Let's go do that right now.
We were talking about
this instant.
It's 10 a.m.
Instantly.
Not to say that we don't sometimes have us a cold beer while we do our podcast late after 5 o'clock, but not right now. Anyway, we were talking about the Amazon thing. And I got into a discussion a few months back with somebody on Facebook that had posted and said, I cannot believe my client reached out to me at 6:35 p.m. wanting an ID card. And her response was ... I'm not Amazon. And my reply was, well, that's the level of service people are going to expect in 2018, 2019, and 2020. And we need, as agents, to sort of try to bridge that gap. That's what I think guys like Jeff Roy, Chris Paradiso, Scott Howell have done a really good job of trying to bring themselves closer to that market.
Insurance agents from around the world, take note of what I'm about to say. Jeff Roy either has or is about to have the ability for his clients to ask Alexa to get them an ID card for their autos, and those ID cards will be emailed to them. Now, let me let you try your best to wrap your little brains around that. That's where we are, guys. I went to the Smithsonian Institute last week in Washington, D.C. I'm walking through, and there on aisle number 3 is the yellow pages in the Smithsonian Institute as an artifact. Guys, my son is 11 years old. He does not know what yellow pages are. I stick the phone book in front of him. He's like, Dad, what's that yellow book right there? Swear to God, that's a true story.
What do you think about that, Brian?
It's funny. I just have to tell a quick story. We stream everything. I'm sure you guys or a lot of people out there listening too, but we just got YouTube video, and on some of their shows, there's commercials. And I was watching it the other day with my stepson, and he's like, what's the deal with these commercials?
Yeah.
Why are the commercials so long? Why are the commercials? And I had to explain to him, I'm like, dude, you don't realize when I was a kid, every show had commercials.
Uh-huh.
Everything did. So, that's the kind of thinking we're going towards of the world we live in. I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's a line on that. One of our guys this year, Bob Klinger, made a great point that depending on the coverage and some of the things that you're doing or commercial clients, you may want to review some of the certificates before they go out because of certain things of your duty as an insurance agent.
Right.
But when we're talking about personal lines or stuff that's pretty across the board, Geico's doing it. I mean, The big ones, Allstate, I mean, all the captives, I mean, that type of ability. I'm in the insurance world. One of my best friends, an independent agent downtown in Des Moines, has all our policies. That's who I work with. I don't want to see him. I don't want to have to go in there. I mean,
Right.
You know, and so everybody, I think, Bradley, I think you and I had a conversation with that. Some people like to text. Some people like to, I mean, when I go to a website and I want customer service, I don't want to call. That's just me personally. I want to chat.
Yep.
So, you know, there's this big movement. I hear everybody talking about it. It's not customer service. It's customer experience.
Yep. Exactly.
You know, when you
right.
go to the association event and they go, who has great customer service? Who doesn't raise their hand? That's like the bare minimum standard that people should expect from us, is to have solid customer service. Everybody expects that. The Amazons of the world and everybody else has good customer service they need to expect from the agent. It's the customer experience that's going to separate us. I mean, I've had speakers on in the past about all the money that's going into fintech right now, all the people that are trying to disrupt the insurance industry and they know we've in some way dropped the ball. And we have. I mean, Bradley, the story you just told, that's dropping the ball. I'm sorry, that agent won't be in business in the next 10 years. If
Right.
they don't change the way they think about that, they will not be in business, because in 5 to 10 years, maybe sooner, I mean, it's going to change the way they communicate, the way they do business. And I don't think it has to mean you're necessarily available all of the time.
No.
But you need to have the right systems, the right people, the right team members, and the right processes in place to make sure that those people feel like they're taken care of. And if they ask for that certificate at 6:35 at night and your team isn't getting back to them right away, at the latest the next morning with that certificate, you're doing them a disservice.
Absolutely.
If not that night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is the world we're in.
Yeah, and you don't have to be available, but you need to at least have some way for the client to feel like, okay, I've let him know this problem, and then set that expectation for when it's going to be handled. You know, I'll give you an example. I have a chat bot on my Facebook page that me and a friend of mine built ourselves, and I have the ability with Facebook Messenger to capture a link that I can text to people. They click that, it takes them to Messenger, and it takes them through all the prompts to get either an auto, home, or a life insurance quote. And we're building out the service side of it. And one thing I do is I have an email list built up of everybody we've ever quoted, and I have it segmented by company. So I can send a Allstate customer an email that basically says, hey, they can't do this, I can. You see what I mean? As a way to sort of, and it's not, the chatbot itself is not groundbreaking, but it's one of those things that clients are like, that's kind of cool, you know, to separate yourself. And they think, wow, if I'm able to go through all these prompts and this robot asks me all the questions I need to get a quote, the customer experience and the customer service level with this agency is going to be better than what I have now. You know, I call my agent now or email my agent now, ask for an ID card, and it takes them 2 days to get back to me.
Brian, listen to this. Feel free to put this on the insuranceagentsummit.com.
/guys.
Insurance agents from around the world, pick up your pen and paper and take notes, because I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. We are currently in what I call remember the Alamo mode. Remember the Alamo. 13-day siege down in Texas a long, long time ago. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. People want to buy the way that they want to buy, whether it's over the phone, on the internet, online, in person, however they want to buy, they want to buy. The last vestige that we have, the Alamo, we have been cornered back into the Alamo. We are behind the walls right now with 3,000 Mexican troops shooting at us right now. And the last vestige that we have to hold on to is the claim process. Because people want to buy the way they want to buy. And I've said this before, but when 4 people get killed on I-65 South or somebody's house burns down, they do not want to talk to a 21-year-old in a call center in Des Moines, Iowa. Sorry, Brian. You know who they want to talk to? They want to talk to Scott Howell. They want to talk to Bradley Flowers. They want to talk to their local independent or captive agent that is handling their business. That's who they want to talk to. That is our Alamo. That is the last stand that we have. So when it comes to claims, especially bad claims, big claims, you better be available, because Geico and Progressive are spending $1 billion a year to turn insurance into a commodity. And the last stand that we have is the claim process. And if they ever figure out how to take us out of the claim process and get us out of that way, I'm afraid that, we may not be around very long. But our last stand is the Alamo, and the Alamo is our claims, being able to help people through a tough claim process. I know that is the one area where companies like Geico and Progressive, USAA, I'll throw them into the mix. When things go well and it's a small fender bender, or it's not bad, or the adjuster does a good job, that's great. People love it. But when the adjuster's bitchy, snippy, snappy one day and doesn't give them what they want, that's a problem. And that's when those companies start losing people, start losing clients, is when the claim process doesn't go the way it should. And now they don't have a local agent to call and hold their hand, right? And so what do? Well, they get pissed off and they go shop their insurance and they call Bradley Flowers and they say, "You're not going to freaking believe what Geico did to me."
Mm-hmm.
I'll get off my soapbox.
Brian, talk a little bit about what you've learned from all of these awesome guests that you have on the podcast.
Oh, great question, Bradley. I mean, it's hard to put into a couple minutes here, but I'll just say I've learned a ton about I've taken a lot of things that they talk about sales and marketing, and we've had topics about building a team, hiring the right people, so many different topics that we've had in the past that I've taken and applied to my own business. Again, I think sometimes we were talking before about agents, how we get so stuck in the technical and we don't look at marketing, but even outside of our industry, I mean, there is so much great information out there. I know, Bradley, you said you follow Gary V.
Yep.
If people don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, I mean, he is probably right now the biggest person in social media marketing.
Yeah.
He's the biggest name. He's got books, that's what Bradley's into. That's who we should be following. So you need to look at all of that content information. So that's what I've done too with the speakers I've had. I mean, I don't run an agency anymore. I'm not an agent, but I've taken so much of this content information. I mean, so much of it is universal.
Right.
To just being an entrepreneur, a salesperson, and a business owner.
Yep.
So much of this is just universal to running a good business, to being more profitable. So I've learned a ton about that. I've learned a ton about also just personality and I've been blown away by the lack of ego of these big name people that I've had on, that have been time and time again have said, "How can I help? What do you need? Thank you for having me on. I appreciate what you're doing. What can I do?" I mean, no ego. People like Chris Paradiso and Mike Stromso and so many other people that you mentioned, Ryan Hanley and so many other. I mean, no ego, just good people that want to help the industry be successful. Now, it doesn't mean to say I haven't run into a few who are the opposite, and we haven't talked since, and I haven't had them back on since. But if you watch our summit, you can see I have back a few of the same people, usual suspects, because they always have something new. They always have something innovative and great. And they're just good people that want to help. I mean, it would be hard for me to guess how many emails, texts, and phone calls and personal meetings Chris Paradiso takes in a month just to help agents.
Right.
That's probably 20% of his total, if not more.
I would say more.
Work.
Yeah, I would say more.
I would say more. Yeah. I mean, he does so much for people. So, and there's a lot of other people out there like that because, they know that we're stronger together. Again, I spoke about, fintech before. Billions of dollars, that's with a B, is going into fintech in a large. Now, some of that's on the financial side, financial advisors. A lot of that money is going into disrupting the insurance industry, to completely cutting the insurance agent out. Listen to this, guys. I'm sure maybe you guys talk about this podcast. Insurance companies as well are looking to cut out the insurance agent. I mean, or to reduce commissions, or to find any way to go direct to consumer. They do it. I mean, I've had people tell me they've heard executives and CEOs of insurance companies say, "We cut out the insurance agent tomorrow if we could. We just haven't figured it out." So if we're not doing the things that you guys talked about, claims, customer experience, doing business in the way, I mean, those are the fundamentals of being a technician and really understanding your coverages in your niches or whatever you focus on. Think of this, help your clients in marketing, help them with selling, help them create videos to get online, help them with their Facebook. I think, Bradley, you may be doing that with some of your clients. Help them with their Instagram. I mean, do things that go beyond just the insurance. So if we're not doing those things, then why not cut us out? I mean, if we're just collecting checks and sitting back and waiting for a claim to happen, which may or may, I mean, I love what you said, Scott, but a claim may or may not ever happen. It may not happen for 5 years.
True.
So what's going to keep that person leaving for $100 or $20 or $10? I mean, it's going to be these additional things that you're going to do above and beyond that are going to do that. So that's what I've learned and just seeing the evolution of the industry and seeing where it's going. Unfortunately, we're still very far behind, but I believe the right agents are going to get there, and the right agents that do it are going to be around, and you guys are going to make more money than you ever have before.
Well, and you've got to think about, I talked to an agent earlier this week, and I actually did an Instagram Live on this subject. So you got to think about what separates you, because it's not customer service. You might think it's customer service, and you might say it's customer service, and if you are saying it's customer service, you need to dig down a little deep and find out, okay, what really is it? Because like I said, everybody gives good customer service. So you've got to figure out what variable are you bringing to the table that separates you from everybody else? Because I can tell you the percentage of people that do business with me, the largest percentage are people that like me. People do business with people they like or people that make it convenient for them. Or it sort of goes back to social media marketing we talked about with another guest on a previous podcast. You got to make them laugh. You got to make them cry. You got to educate them. You got to entertain them. One of the four, Hey, you got to figure out what that is.
Hey, Brian, I've got a question for you. It's going to be my last question of the day. You there?
Yep. Go ahead.
He's scared.
Brian's like, I don't know about this guy. This guy scares me to death. Brian, do I scare you to death? So
I love it, man.
On the insuranceagentsummit.com, I'm looking at that right now, and it says get your free ticket. So for all the other agents like me that don't know much about the summit, okay, what does that mean? Is that get your free ticket? Because when you click on that, it takes you to enter your first name and your email address. So what's a free ticket? And I'm trying to, educate agents out here on your, on what you do here. What does the free ticket mean? Yeah, what does the free ticket mean for these guys?
So, again, we try to use some of the terminology of what people understand. I mean, when you go to a live event, you're used to getting a ticket to get in. So obviously this is all virtual, so you're not getting a physical ticket. But when you enter your name and email, that registers you, that puts you on our list, that gets you in as a free attendee. So what that means is every day that we run the summit, which is the 22nd through the 24th of October, 2018, when you're listening to this. Now, you can register at any time after that date to be on our list for the next summit. So you can register at any time. We always leave the list up. But for the upcoming event and when we do the next one, that gets you on the list for those as well. When you register, you get a free ticket, as I said. So that means on Monday the 22nd, we will send out an email to you notifying you saying, hey, these interviews are available to watch today. You've got up to 24 hours to watch them as a free attendee. So, really, I saw the event. I mean, we could charge everybody and do that. And, we wouldn't have as many attendees, but I'd probably make more money. But I want to help the young agent out there that doesn't have a pot to piss in, that says, man, I really need to learn and grow, but I don't even have $100 to pay for an event. Great. If you can show up every day and you've got 3 or 4 hours to watch all the content every day when we put it out there, you can totally attend our event for free. That would be at no charge each day. So Monday it comes out, you've got 24 hours to watch those trainings. Same with Tuesday, same with Wednesday. Now, if you do want, we do have a VIP package. If you sign up and buy it during the summit, we offer a huge discount on it. It's only $97. That gives you lifetime access to all the content. We're putting a playbook together with, Bradley has provided some great material on Instagram and how he exactly does that. We've got some of our other speakers like Jerry Nicklow is going to take you through his exact process of how he does Google Ads and gets over 100 commercial leads a month, quality commercial leads that they convert 30% of using Google Ads. He's going to take you through the entire process. So if you upgrade to VIP, you get all the content. You're going to get that playbook that's going to have the detailed, specific step-by-step strategies from all of our speakers. And then we're going to do a live. Bradley, I hope he can attend and be on. I just sent him an email yesterday.
It's on the calendar, bud.
So we're going to do a live panel Q&A session with 4 of the speakers from the summit. Bradley Flowers, Chris Paradiso, Mike Crowley, and Carlos Vargas are all going to do. They're going to answer any question you guys have. So if you sign up and buy the VIP package, you're going to get access to that. And you can literally come on and ask these guys anything. It can be about the training. It can be about their agency. It can be about what their favorite dog is. I mean, I don't care. You ask them whatever you want to, but you can literally ask them any question. And they're going to be there to offer their advice, offer their guidance, and talk about what they're doing to grow their agency and build it for the future. So those are the 2 levels we have. But again, my give back to the industry is to say, again, if you're a young guy or girl that doesn't have even $5 to buy a McDonald's, you can still attend our event and attend it for free.
Brian, thanks so much for what you do for agents, man. It's awesome.
No doubt.
You know, there's so many people that are take. Not that there's really anything wrong with that as long as the content is good, but really, from the bottom of my heart, as an agent and as a podcaster who wants to do nothing but help agents, we really appreciate what you do for the industry.
I have 2 things to add to that. Number 1, I already know what Chris Paradiso's favorite dog is. Number two, to add to what Bradley said, sincerely, thank you. And if I heard you correctly, if I'm in a one-man shop, let's say I'm a farmer's agent in small-town Iowa, and I want access to all of this content on the insuranceagentsummit.com, which I've now said about 12 times, I can pay a one-time fee of $97 and have access to this content whenever I want it. Is that what you said?
That's exactly right. So yes. And thank you guys. Thanks for having me on, the kind words. And this has been a ton of fun. You're exactly right. You pay $97. You get access to all the training content from 2018. Watch it as many times as you want to. Watch it later if you can't attend. I know, again, a lot of you guys are busy. You got a lot going on. You can't watch 15 interviews in 3 days. Hey, get the pass and you can watch them anytime you want to from wherever you want to. It's an online digital platform that you can do that on. And then, like I said, we include the playbook and you're going to get access to the live Q&A panel as well as the summit wraps up. So again, I'm not getting rich off this. This is to pay our expenses and to be able to do it again next year. So that's really why we do the VIP package. But $97 for what we provide there, I think, is a heck of a deal. I know I'm a little biased, but I think we give a lot away even at the $97 level.
That's amazing.
And guys, head over, now that you're listening, pause this podcast and head over to insuranceagentsummit.com/guys. That's GUYS. It's a special, unique identifier for the Insurance Guys podcast listeners. Head on over and take advantage of that. Go ahead and register. This podcast will actually post the week of October 15th, Brian. So as you're listening to this now, it's next week. So you need to go ahead and do that right now.
And we did that on purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
Brian, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Guys, listen to me. You know, as part of being an insurance agent, it is imperative that you continue to educate yourself. The best thing that you can do, besides listen to this podcast, is educate yourself every year. And what I try to do is I try to spend at least a week, if not 2 weeks. I just signed up for a sales boot camp yesterday with Mike Stromso that I will be attending in November. I'm going to encourage you, no matter how long you've been in the business, no longer how many years you've been selling insurance, to go do some stuff like that. You know, if you don't have time to travel somewhere, go to insuranceagentsummit.com/what, guys?
Guys, yes.
Yeah, guys. And register. $97? Are you freaking kidding me?
And we'll put that link in the show notes as well. So just scroll down on your app.
Are you freaking kidding me? $97 to listen to some of these people that I know are the best at what they do in the industry. You need to get out there and do that, guys. Remember, rewards come from action, not discussion. Get your ass out from behind that desk today and go sell insurance for your family. Go write good business for the agencies that you represent. Go write good business for the company that you represent. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
All right,
thanks,
Brian. Brian, have a great day. Guys, you're listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. We'll see you back real soon. Take care. thanks for listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. If you need to know more about me or you need to get in touch with Scott, you can always reach me at theinsuranceguyonline.com or email me at iprotectins@gmail.com. And if you need to get in touch with Mr. Bradley Flowers, go to bradleyflowersinsurance.com or email him at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to being with you again real soon on the next episode of The Insurance Guys. Take care.